All right, Keon Brown here in New York. Thank you for watching. So grateful that you're here. This is NCCU Live. Today is the 10th, not the 3rd, the 10th of February, 2021. Come on, 2021. Powerful year so far. I hope you're well. Let's bring in all of our guests so you can, well, actually, I'm not going to bring them in yet. I want to tell you who we've got on today. Some powerful people. 2004 has to take over sometimes. 2004 has to take over sometimes. And today, may be that day. Let's see who we've got lined up today. First, Ayanna Crawford from the class of 2004. We look forward to talking to her. My classmate, also my classmate, Christopher Jackson from 2004. And I don't have this picture right here, but Johnny Jones from 2013 is going to be on as well. Looking forward to this conversation. Let's start out with let's talk Chris Jackson. I want to bring Chris Jackson up first. What's up, Chris? You there?
What's going on, Keon? How you?
It's been a while, man. Homecoming. I feel like I haven't seen you since, maybe homecoming or so. How are you?
Man, I've been good. Yeah, we're all going through homecoming withdrawals. So hopefully we can get back on track this year.
I think it's more of a redefinition of homecoming, like literally at home, like homecoming. Like we just stayed at home. Tell me what's up with you, man. Full lifestyle university, I see. Tell me about it.
So full lifestyle, full, it stands for forging your halt lifestyle. And our motto is always be you. So you can see we have the U accented in all of our items. Whenever you see the name full, you'll see that U accented, just because you is the most important part of your everyday endeavors. Make sure that you're always being yourself, staying true to yourself. So that's our motto, and that's what we bring forward with our services as well as our apparel.
Talk about some of the services that you provide too. I know you do some consulting, you do some image consulting. Talk about that as well.
Absolutely. So we do personal image consulting for those who have events coming up and you want to get a little snazzier than normal. We also offer personal shopping, and we offer the consultation, so we can set that up, get an idea of your personal style, and then go from there and see where we want to build, and get feedback from the client, and go from there. We're rolling full steam ahead with apparel. We have new drops pretty much weekly. 2021 has been good. We've been very creative, trying some new things, and the public has been receiving it well. So we're definitely grateful for that.
Excellent. Where can we find all of this and more?
Definitely at fulllifestyle.com. And then on our IG page at Full Lifestyle, and it's FUHL.
Love that, bro. Where have you been since class of 04? Where have you been, and what has life dealt you? What have you seen in this time over 16, 17 years, bro?
Right. It does not seem like it's been that long, but it indeed has. But yeah, so I've been professionally working in the public services field. So been in varied capacities there. I'm currently working as an inspection supervisor in Durham. I've been in the RDU area since graduation and have had the opportunity to work with various public service agencies. Just in that field, it's been something that I was definitely passionate about coming out of undergrad, and really just throughout my entire life, just always wanting to give back and find a way to assist others in being the best that they could be. So working in that field, definitely working in housing currently, ensuring that affordable housing is up to standard, up to code, for program participants.
Excellent work, and thank you for the work that you do. So you're from the Raleigh-Durham area, right?
I'm from Winston-Salem.
Aha. Yeah. How did NCCU find you?
So it's a funny story. So when coming out of high school, both of my parents were HBCU grads. They graduated from Winston-Salem State. I grew up in Winston-Salem my whole life, so I was definitely familiar with the HBCU atmosphere, and it was definitely something that always spoke to me personally. So when the time came to apply for universities, I applied to three schools. I applied to UNC Charlotte, NC State, and North Carolina Central. So I got accepted at all three, but when I came on my visit to Central, it was just something that it felt like home. It felt right for me to go there, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, just because of the experience that I've had being an alumnus, and the experience that I had being a student there at NCCU. It was like it's an experience that you can't really explain, but you definitely feel it, and you know it.
Yeah, I think I hear that story so many times that when you get to the yard and you get to the orientation and you get to the visit, that's when you all fear or all hesitancy or all confusion or you know anything
Yeah,
that you were kind of teetering back and forth. When Salem or yeah,
right,
this is it right here.
right.
Uh, I love that. Tell me your favorite moment, your favorite memory from NCCU. I know there's plenty and during those times, but one,
Man.
Chris.
Um, it would have to be a series of memories, but in the same vein. So just experiencing, excuse me, those basketball games in McDougal, um, like that atmosphere, like being able to get there, like you had to get there early if you wanted to get a seat. Like the games when we were playing Winston-Salem State or St. Aug or any of our rivals, definitely A&T. You have to get there early, and try and get that seating on the lower level, right near the floor, and just being in that atmosphere. We were lucky to have competitive teams while I was there, so they definitely gave us something to root for as well as something to brag about. But just being in that atmosphere, feeling that energy, again, feeling like home, and just being there with your fellow classmates and being with my friends. We had a number of guys that were from Winston-Salem that came to Central, and we were there at the same time. And we were always together. Like whenever you would see us on the yard, we were together. So it was just that family and being able to take that in.
I didn't realize until right now that all y'all were from Winston Salem. I didn't gather that. That's dope. I didn't know that. All right,
Yeah,
brother Chris Jackson from the class of 2004, full university, full
yeah,
lifestyle.com.
yes,
Y'all check it out. Chris, stick around. We're going to bring everybody together in a moment, but stick around.
absolutely.
Thank you for being here, brother. Good to see you.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. Hold on one second. Chris Jackson from the illustrious class of 2004. You already know. Let's just go ahead and bring in one more. Let's just double our trouble. You know what I'm saying? One more from 2004. Ayanna Crawford. Let's bring her in. Ayanna, how you doing, sis?
Hey, go ahead and explain my headphones. I already explained them to you, but for everybody else, these are my headphones from work. And so y'all can't hear the craziness that happens in my house. I have my headphones on.
All right. Well,
So
since you're
go
talking
ahead.
about
I'm
what
gonna
you
let you.
do, talk about what you do then. I mean, since you already, what job would have you have that level of professional gear situation? What does one do for that type of gear, Ayana?
I am a school accreditation manager for the American Montessori Society. And I know probably no one knows what that means. So I'll go ahead and explain it. Um, I work with Montessori schools. So I've worked with Montessori schools for about 20 years now. I don't like saying that. But it's been about 20 years.
20 years.
Um,
Yep.
but I work with schools to make sure that their Montessori programs are high quality. Pretty much, that's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, and how did you get into Montessori? Because I don't think that that's something that most people, specifically from our university, Montessori schools, can you
Yes.
describe what that is and kind of detail what that is?
Okay. Don't get me on my soapbox because you know how I
Oh,
get.
you
But
got about 2 minutes on your soapbox.
I okay. So I was actually an education major at Central. They have an amazing School of Education for all of you aspiring teachers out there, educators, not teachers. Anywho, I digress.
Yes.
Um, we um, from there, I my maiden name was Wright, Wright, and I was kind of forgotten at the end of the student teaching list. And so when I went in to get my assignment, and they realized they had forgotten me on the list, they were like, "Oh, well, we've got this Montessori thing." So I was on a scholarship. I went to school on a 4-year volleyball scholarship, and so I had to get out of school. So I said, okay, I took the job at the Montessori school, or my student teaching at the Montessori school, so I could graduate on time. And I fell in love. So that's how I got to Montessori, and that's how I grew to know what it was. It was a public Montessori school in Durham. And from there, I fell in love with it. I have educated my kids as Montessori kids. You know, my kids, they are very inquisitive, very independent, um, very globally minded. And so those are all of the things that Montessori brings to kids and to the world that I love. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
But I had no clue that you tapped into Montessori, that education at NCCU through your student teaching experience. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I
Wow.
credit all of my success. I love education. This is my passion for sure. But I gained so much knowledge, so much love for education and for being a good educator at North Carolina Central. And I know so many educators right now from North Carolina Central that are doing amazing things, like Teacher of the Year, they're principals, they are like amazing things. Great school of education.
As we shift administrations in the government, education, I believe, will take a more center focus.
Mhm.
What are some things that you're seeing in your work? What are some reoccurring themes that you're seeing in your work that you might want to share with us?
One thing that I am seeing, I'll talk about the positive things. So, some of the things that I'm seeing that I'm happy that I'm seeing that I want to see more of are children being listened to. The reason why I call myself an educator and not a teacher, really quickly, the word education comes from the Latin root educare or educere, which means to bring forth. Children are not empty vessels that we pour information into, like they're already full of thoughts and imagination, and we're supposed to pull that out of them. And so, I see a lot more of that because we're kind of stuck in our houses with kids. We are around kids all the time. They have a lot to do. They have a lot to say, and if we don't let them, we're going to drive ourselves crazy. So the more you start to realize that children bring a lot more to the world than we give them credit for, which education is starting to do, I think that's going to change the trajectory of all of our futures, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I just want to tap into that. Just follow up on that. Uh, what's your experience about the adult in the room being the bearer of all information?
I will say this, and I say this to all adults. How much self actualization have you done past the age of 30?
Wow,
I mean,
crickets.
I mean, most adults will say, I have learned so much more, like from 30 and beyond. I'm learning so much more about life in general, not just, not just the stuff I learned in school, but like stuff that matters. Just life. I'm learning a lot more about life. And the more I learn about life, the more I realize I I I have had a clouded way or one track way of thinking about life. And so when I allow kids to tell me what they think, when I allow them to express how they feel, and when I actually take that in and take that into account, instead of saying, well, you shouldn't feel that way, you shouldn't think that way, this is what you should be striving for, you actually get to learn more. You get to connect more pieces of the puzzle, and I don't know. It makes a more peaceful world. Like no one has time to be arguing with kids. Let them be. They they will teach you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for that. I mean, I had an interview with Jaden and Willow Smith, and they blew my mind, of course,
Hmm.
like your kids do all the time. But I specifically said, talk about being a teenager, and they're like, well, the issue is that we're dividing each other into, adults, teens, dividing us up. We just need to tap into a issue and then collectively try to innovate a solution. And I was
Yeah,
like, okay. Yes,
let them
sir.
be.
I
Let
think
them be.
that's what we need to do
Listen,
too, sir.
And that comes from collaboration. Adults are self-actualizing, so are kids. So give them their space to do it. We're learning how to do it. I mean, I am excited for this new generation. I know a lot
Me
of
too.
our generation is a little bit afraid of what's coming up, but I see a lot of power and strength and beauty in our new generation. See, my soapbox. I'm gonna stop now.
We will stop there. Thank you, Ayanna Crawford, from the class of 2004, for all those insights and digging up our School of Education that I'm in currently for my master's, and I'm excited about the future of the School of Education at NCCU.
Say hello to Dr. Dunstan for me.
I shall, and Dr. Osler and Dr.
Her
Maticia.
children are Montessori children.
Oh wow, got to
Hmm.
be. I love Dunstan. All right. You stick around. We're gonna get Johnny, and then we're gonna come back. Okay,
All
hang
right.
tight. All right, Ayanna Crawford, powerful. I see you, future Secretary of Education. Something powerful for that one right there. Come on, I'm claiming that right now. All right, all right. So let's bring in our final guest, last but not least, Johnny Jones the second. What's up, Johnny?
What's going on, Keon, man? Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here and congratulations. I didn't pull up the full picture, but you are featured in a new campaign that's highlighting HBCUs, and you're wearing that shirt representing us, North Carolina Central, which you do very well, representing NCCU out in the culture. Congratulations. Talk about that.
I got presented with an opportunity. Come to find out, the co-founder of A Life, Mr. Trey Hill, and kudos to him, but his grandfather, Mr. Bond, I forget his first name, but he was the first graduate of NCCU's law school. And his father was actually.
Johnny, we lost your sound.
You hear me?
There we
You hear
go.
me?
Now we got you back.
Oh, I'm
Yep,
sorry.
got you back. Yep.
Uh, did you hear about the law school?
The first law school graduate was the
Graduate, yeah,
grandfather of the
yeah.
founder of A Life.
Yeah, and then his father was line or is line brothers with former board of trustees member Mr. Harold Epps. So because that was my big thing. A lot of times these companies, they have these campaigns and things like that, and I just feel as though NCCU is treated like a tier 2 school. Like we're not in that black Ivy League like Hampton, Howard, uh, Spell House, things like that. So when he told me that he was giving that shine at NCCU, I was just like, let's do it. And what NCCU means to me, it was just like it was a no brainer. And it's getting a lot of like light on NCCU as well as other HBCUs, and it's just a beautiful thing. So.
Now, talk about, and thank you for this representing. I'm excited about it. I look forward to seeing more. And I want to tap into you real quick. Well, I also want to talk about with the greater group about NCCU being considered like a top tier 2 as opposed to a tier 1. Like we want to like let's say that. Let's say that for the big discussion. But
Yeah.
lead that.
Yeah.
Bring us to that, please.
Gotcha.
But also want to talk about you as the on the Young Professional Council for the Levine Museum of the New South. Can you talk about that? Congratulations on that as well.
Oh yeah, thank you. I came into that role in about in 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018, October 2018. And basically the Levine's Museum of the New South, it wanted to be more appealing to younger kids, the millennials, because usually museum goers are pretty much older individuals who are retired, things like that. So they wanted to be more appealing. But with that, we've had more exhibits and things like that, and really just wanting to push more diversity in the arts and into museums and things like that. So what I look at it as, for me personally, is just being able to what can I say? If I can get more young kids of color into the arts, if that part of their mind can be stimulated, just that's pretty much all it is. Like I just want to stimulate the kids as much as possible with that level of creativity and have their minds open to different things and what they possibly see every day. So
Absolutely. Well, how did NCCU find you, sir?
Okay, so coming out of high school, crazy story. Um, I knew I was gonna play basketball in college, and I had like little like part offers from some D2 schools and all that. And my goal, I just knew I wanted to go to Chapel Hill, so I applied to Chapel Hill. Like I was in IB, I had a 4.2, like 1600 SAT, all of this stuff,
Sheesh.
and they put me on the wait list because my goal was to go to Chapel Hill, play on their JV team, and get moved up to their varsity team by like my junior senior year.
You got a
Um,
plan.
yeah. It was my plan. And the day they put me on the wait list, I got a letter from Central saying that I would be a part of this program, which I'm an alumnus of the ITSTEM program, and I'll get into that as well. But I'd be a part of that, and that they would give me X, Y, and Z amount of money. And I was just like, you know what? My uncle's in the Hall of Fame for basketball. I'm a product of the HBCUs. Like my grandmother went, my aunts went. Like my family's divided between Winston, A&T, and Central. And I was just like, you know what? We're going to Central. And I graduated. I remember this. I graduated. It had to have been like June 18th, 2009. I was at school. I was in college the next day, starting my program. So yeah, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
This is history.
Man. Well, lastly, I want to talk about, because you were talking about some of the science stuff. You also are a research coordinator at the Neuroscience Institute of Atrium Health in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Now that's completely far beyond my understanding. You talk about neuroscience. I feel like that's something like, I don't know. I'm thinking Hidden Figures. I don't know. What do you do there?
Well, basically, I describe my position. I'm a liaison between big pharma, who probably has a device or a product. I'm a liaison between them, my site, which includes my doctor, my physicians, my PIs that I deal with, and my patients. So usually you have pharma who has a drug or whatever that they're trying to test for efficacy, which we're going through now with COVID and Operation Warp Speed. And yeah, that is literally what I do day in and day out, among other things. But my demographic of patients, they have ALS, stroke, MS, muscle dystrophies, things like that. And I actually just got published last November with some ALS work that I did. My doctor, my main PI, Dr. Benjamin Brooks, he's the man. He presented it like in Australia at some international symposiums and things like that. So that's all research is for. It's to come up with a set of information and to keep like for that to kindle somebody's brain, to keep it going and challenge them to look at it from a different angle and just keep it going, just for the betterment of society.
Indeed. Johnny Jones II, from the class of 2013, man. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do, specifically during this crisis in our country and our world. Thank you for doing that work. Let's bring in the class of 2004. That's just what's not in right now. It's the class of 2004. Chris Jackson and Ayanna Crawford from the class of 2004. Welcome back, guys. What's up, Eagles? Welcome.
Family.
Everybody look good. Everybody coordinated. Everybody got nail on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Everybody got something on. I want to tap into what we were talking about, Johnny. We were talking about NCCU in some spaces not necessarily being considered a top tier institution, specifically with like branding and marketing. When you go to the airport, or you go to Walmart, or you go wherever, you don't necessarily see NCCU. You see Duke and Chapel Hill and State, but not NCCU. Johnny, do you want to elaborate on that and then maybe get a quick discussion?
Well, from my vantage point, some people know, some people don't know. I actually went to grad school at Hampton University as well. From 2014 to 2016, I got my master's in medical sciences. But literally, like, I just remember coming to Central, and I remember I had a cookout in Charlotte, and I didn't have any NCCU paraphernalia. Like, I couldn't order any online or anything, and I literally had to take a Hanes shirt and put NCCU in marker on my pocket. But it's just, I don't know. I can't. It's kind of hard to put into words, and CJax, you all might be able to better put it, but I don't know. I just feel as though just a second tier. I mean, literally, when you have these, when you talk about entertainment and things like that, like it's always the G ho, it's always the ANT, it's always let's go to Spell House, like let's go to the Mecca, let's go to the Mecca, let's go to Howard, and it's just like those terms they've kind of typecasted us, or really just, oh, Mecca, that's where it all began, like that's Howard. And I mean, you can't deny the history that are at these schools, but there's a lot of history at these other institutions as well. And
Indeed.
that other institution being NCCU, like I put our school up against anyone, like
anyone.
in any medium,
Absolutely.
in any continent, anywhere. So
Johnny,
Absolutely.
what I would add to that is once people know better, they do better.
Mhm.
So once people come to a Central Homecoming, um, it's like it's not like anything else. And like everybody says that about their school, but we mean it. We can stand on that. Like it's not it's
Yes.
not
And
like anything else.
one thing that I have to argue with all the time is people, I went to predominantly white schools growing up because my parents wanted me to go to the better schools. I
Mhm.
made a conscious decision that I was going to find some black folks. So I was offered a full ride, and my parents made the rest of that decision. But when I got to Central, it really was a family. And I literally, like you guys know, I literally still hang out with all of those same people. Like I have friends from 20 years, not just we hang out and party, but like there's just a text group earlier. It's like, hey guys, how's everybody's business going? How's it? Like it is a networking. It is a therapy group. It is a place where you are understood, where you are checked, because
Mhm.
that is also where, you learn how to get right. Like Central does not send you out into the world wrong. So I mean, there's just so much that I could say about Central. I also got my master's from A&T, but it was, I mean, HBCUs in general, but definitely Central. Um, Black excellence is an understatement. I'll say that.
Thank you for that, guys. And I always say, what is our thing, right? Like we can call very specifically other people's things, but what is ours? And I think that that's where we start. Because once we've identified what that is, then we can articulate it and share it in a way to bring people into it. So if they're the Mecca, let them be the Mecca. What are we? Are we the
Right.
gateway? Are we the reservoir? Are we the into the deep? I mean, we have to, I mean, as a branding person, we'll come up with the semantics of the language, but
yeah.
what is it that we want people to gather about the sloping hills
It's where
and the
Black
verdant green?
excellence resides. Let me stop.
We're
It's
the
where
we're
Black
the nest.
excellence resides. Listen, I'm
We're
just
the nest.
saying.
It's nothing better than that. We're the nest.
The
That's where home
nest.
is. That's where eagles reside. They have a nest. We're the nest.
Absolutely.
It's home. That's it.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome to the
Okay.
nest. I love it. Come on, see Jackson. That's an exclusive right there. I think we'll run with that. How
Yeah.
about that?
Now I'll send you the invoice.
Thank you. Well, send it to the chancellor's office. I'll send you the address. I have a couple going there, so we'll just all get paid. All right, we're coming to the close to our time here. We're already over, but I always go over because we have great time. This is a conversation among friends. That's what this is. And I hope that's what people feel and see and experience. Let's go round robin. Your final thoughts for the evening, and then we'll close. We'll start with C Jackson. What's your final thoughts?
um Again, just coming back to the brand, back to full lifestyle. Always be you. Be true to what you're passionate about, and always adhere to it. Your spirit won't steer you wrong. So always be you. That's my closing thoughts.
Christopher Jackson from the class of 2004. All right, Ayanna Crawford.
Um, I will not get back on my soapbox, but I will just say in general, since I spoke so much about education, allowing children to be free. Let's work to make a better future for our young people.
Indeed, Ayanna Crawford. I think you heard what I said, future Secretary of Education. I feel like there's
I
something
heard
there.
that. So I'll tell you about my PhD plans. We don't have to talk. We'll talk.
And
We'll talk.
I'll tell you about mine. All right. Okay. So all right, Doc. Okay, Doc. Here's another future Doc, I'm pretty sure. Johnny Jones II. What are your final thoughts?
The eagle is no ordinary barnyard fowl. Literally.
Yes, sir.
I stand on that. What I was speaking on earlier, I feel as though we can put in any NCCU alumni in any space, anywhere, and they are going to hold their own and make it look good. So I just want all our Eagles to hold themselves accountable holistically, and let's just bring it together and synergistic, and let's just grow. Let's continue to grow.
Thank you for that. I forgot to say a couple things. We won the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Ryan Smith is the first Eagle to win
Shout
a
out.
Super Bowl.
Yo.
Okay, come on.
And my
Cappers
Neo Nick, he's actually on the practice squad. So he wasn't an
Absolutely.
active member, but he was on the practice squad. So he gets a ring. So shout out to Tossa.
Absolutely.
Listen, you can't win without
We
the
throw
practice.
it up. We throw it up.
Shout
Oh
out.
Lord,
Shout
I'll have.
out.
You see my purple and gold back here. I have to let Justin know.
And that's why I
Don't
love
tell
you.
Justin nothing. Don't tell Justin nothing. Okay, he's probably tuned in. That's my guy. All right. All right. Also, check out this tomorrow. Is that special? Yeah. So there's a special on Black churches on February 11th on PBS. And here's some local pastors. I see Pastor Andy there. I see our own Michael Page there. But that's going to be hosted by WNCU, our own radio station, talking about the power of Black churches. And we have those special folks there. I know those guys, so I'm excited about that coming up. And I think I have it here. Maybe I don't, but NCCU is going to be featured in a documentary on ESPN coming up on the 12th. So that is in 2 days. So it's going to be following the men's basketball team, Lavelle Moulton. Just shout out to him for just forever putting us on the map in the way that he has. So I'm grateful for that. So I just want to make sure we got some of those top stories.
Yo, Keon, can I give a quick shout out as far as that?
Of course.
Also shout out to our late Chancellor, Dr. Deborah Saunders White. Her son Cecil actually works for WME Sports. And he kind of orchestrated getting the documentary done. So shout out to him as well.
Shout out to Cecil, man. Thank you. He's an Eagle through and through. So I appreciate you, Cecil, for that. All right. I want to make sure I got to everything. I'm getting messages, but I can't see it. All right. Make sure you remember we're celebrating 110 years of truth and service, North Carolina Central University. I'm still using this 2021, but whatever. 110, almost 111 years. This is powerful stuff here. Make sure that you visit nccualumni.org and join the Alumni Association wherever you are, whatever city you're in. You can join the Alumni Association at nccualumni.org and make a recurring gift to the university by going to eaglesgive.com. I'm giving $19.10 a month. I challenge each of you on the call to give 19 at least. Well, some of y'all can do 19.10 a week, but I'm just saying at the very least $19.10 per month. Are you guys game for that?
I accept.
I got you.
I accept. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching. Remember that an eagle is not a common, ordinary barnyard fowl. We love you for watching, and take care of yourself. Peace out, Eagles.